Welcome to Grow Your Business with Email and Social Media. Simple marketing strategies for small businesses and not-for-profits. Welcome. My name is Lisa Ann Landry. I'm an authorized local expert with Constant Contact and a social media marketing strategist. I'm also the best-selling author of the book Content Marketing: How to Get Started, and I'd love to invite you to email me or call me if I can serve you in the role of a social media strategist. I am the president of Paradigm Shifts Training and Development, where I write and create and deliver live training programs and webinars. And in the role of social media strategist, I work with service-based entrepreneurs to help them create strategies with tools such as social media and email marketing. I integrate those strategies into a system that works for my clients to help them improve their visibility online, to help them to protect their reputation, and also help them grow their business. Here are a few things about me, but I'd like to get started and talk about the agenda for this webinar. Before I start, I would like for you to do an activity. And that activity is to write down the size of your email list. So this is just going to be an equation. Let's say you have 500 people on your list. Then multiply that by the average price of your product or service, or if you're not for profit, by the average donation. So let's say that's $75. Then the total would be $37,500. That would be the value of your list. So what I'd like for you to think about is what happens to that list if you ignore it, if you send emails inconsistently, if you send content that is not valuable to those individuals. Think about that and leave that number in your view for this whole session. Let's start with a small business. Let's start by talking about the agenda for this session. We're going to discuss small business marketing in today's challenging world and why it's to your advantage. We're also going to talk about some steps for you to create your marketing goals, and I am going to show you different tools that really help drive action for you in your messages and how to choose the right place to promote your messages. So I'm talking about the right platform, I'm talking about ways to build relationships through your content on those platforms, and then how to create calls to action to get people to act and do what you need them to do. We're also going to talk about the importance of measuring your goals in order to make future marketing decisions, and then we will end with some tips on how to get started, no matter where you're starting from. So we will start with small business marketing today, in today's world. Now, it might seem like there's a lot to keep up with, and you only have so many resources to get you there. Well, I'm here to tell you, you do have something no one else can offer. Marketing has changed with the growth of technology. Some of the change is obvious, but I want to talk briefly about one of the subtle changes that affects you and your ability to grow your business using all the new online tools. It's a basic shift in the way you may find and keep customers with today's business climate. Look at this model. It's a typical sales funnel using traditional marketing methods like print ads, radio, television, direct mail. This model is all about your reach, reaching out to find new customers. It's bigger at the top, which is where you spend a lot of your time, your money, and your energy in this model. You reach out to as many people as you can, convert a certain percentage into paying customers, and keep even fewer of those people. Mainly because so much of your time, money, and energy went into the reach at the beginning. It's a standard sales and numbers game, and it makes sense. We are all familiar with this model. The problem with this traditional model is that it's expensive. Those ads cost a lot of money, and it's hard for a small company or organization to compete in this landscape. Digital marketing tools have completely flipped the funnel. When you begin to use new marketing tools like email marketing, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, events, surveys, and what have you, you reach people you already know. This new marketing funnel is about reaching out to people that already know you and letting them spread the word to potential new customers. You reach out on a regular basis with information and offers that are relevant to your contacts, and it turns out that if you do it right, you will actually begin to convert more people than you are reaching out to, because all of your audience's desire and ability to share your message. Through this new funnel, you grow your base and your business through repeat business and referrals. At the end of this marketing day, turns out you keep a lot more of your existing customers, so you don't need as many strangers, and it costs less and takes less time and energy. The flip in the marketing funnel is actually phenomenal news for you as a small business or not-for-profit, and that's because you have an advantage over the big business in this new era of marketing, specific to your use of email and social media marketing. You have an advantage because you can be the face of the company, the person associated with the business or organization. You can be your authentic self. Big brands can't do that. Today, we're going to talk about some of the ways you can leverage this advantage. In this new marketing world, you'll spend less time finding new customers and more time engaging your existing happy customers. Email and social media have leveled the playing field for smaller organizations like yours to compete with the big boys. Now, how many of you have learned of a restaurant, event, or business because of something you've seen posted or shared by a friend on social media? Some of you may have heard about my seminars that way. This social visibility allows your customers or members to spread the word about your business. You'll be able to engage your current customers and even reach new ones. With all these ways to communicate and not enough time, how do you decide where to spend your time? Well, it's time to ask yourself, are you really spending your marketing budget in the best way possible? This is not an uncommon challenge for small businesses. You have tons of platforms that you're being told you need to manage all at once, and sometimes that pressure is actually to your disadvantage. So how do you really decide what platform to leverage first? What do you think is the #1 app on smartphones? Now, I get a lot of people who say Facebook, but I want you to think about, like, when you're on your smartphone, what app do you go to all throughout the day, several times a day? For most people, it's email. More than 53% of emails are open on mobile devices. Email is one of the top ways for you to be seen by your customers. Email is hard to beat for real marketing value. It still has the highest delivery and response rate. In fact, the Digital Marketing Association reports that email remains unbeaten, with return on investment still at almost $41 per dollar spent. Email really is the best way to reach your clients or customers, which is going to allow you to manage your relationship with them in a huge way. But what about social media? In today's world, we tell everyone about everything through social media channels, even strangers. 46% of shoppers rely on social media when making a purchasing decision. What's more, 88% find online reviews just as trustworthy as personal recommendations. This means your current and potential customers are spreading the word about you as far as social media can reach, which is pretty far. Based on the new marketing funnel today and the knowledge of how email marketing and social media play into that success, I'd like to give you an example of how Half Moon Yoga was able to leverage this new marketing funnel. Half Moon Yoga is a small studio whose biggest goal was to generate revenue. For them, that means butts on the yoga mat. They were putting effort into sending lengthy monthly emails, posting to every social media site they could think of, and hosting open house events. They were spread so thin, and they weren't getting in front of the right people. The strategy recommended was to send short bi-weekly blasts about their class schedule and to focus their social strategy primarily to Facebook, which is where we decided most of their clients are. Within months, they had doubled their class attendance. By helping Half Moon Yoga define what they were truly after, they were able to focus their budget and their time in the places that would yield the biggest bang for their buck. The moral of the story is that you have endless options about how to market your business, but you don't have endless resources. By learning to define your goals, we can narrow down which methods will be most effective to help you achieve success. So let's talk about setting your goals. Every business or organization has one or two major objectives they're trying to achieve. With so many options in the online marketing world, it's easy to lose sight of what you're ultimately striving for, which means losing time and money without seeing huge benefits. It's important to be very clear about your specific objectives in order to determine your marketing strategy. At the highest level, what is your organization hoping to achieve? Many of us have similar goals. You might want to increase sales. Maybe you just want to drive referrals and repeat business. A lot of us want to engage our clients, volunteers, members, advocates. Maybe you want to reach new customers or donors. Or maybe you would just like to nurture the leads and relationships that you currently have. So raise your hand if you're thinking, I want to do all these things. At different times during the year or during the life cycle of your business, these goals may change. This is when you need to be careful about spreading yourself too thin. Trying to achieve too much all at once may take you away from your ultimate goal. If you had to prioritize, how would you rank them based on importance to your organization right now? Just take a few minutes and think about ranking these things. Once you determine your overall objectives, you can narrow down and write your own marketing goals. When writing your goals, it's important to understand who your target audience truly is in order to choose the right method of communication. Write down real numbers that are challenging yet achievable, and don't forget to put a time frame on it. That way you'll be able to push yourself to reach your goal within the specific time frame. Online marketing services like Constant Contact have contact management tools that will help you to identify your target audience and tracking features that are going to play a role in determining success toward your goal. Now you're ready to write your own goals. Keep in mind, it probably works best to think short term, monthly or quarterly in this exercise. You can go big when you really get a chance to strategize, and you can take a step back and really look at this. If you need inspiration, here's some examples of how Half Moon Yoga was able to narrow their goals down enough to start focusing their marketing and getting real results. So who did they want to focus on? Current and previous members. What were they trying to accomplish? Well, they wanted an average of 10 attendees per class, and they were shooting to achieve this goal within a 3-month time frame. Now, we've decided what we're truly after, and we've made a tangible goal to measure our success. Now you're ready to start designing the message that gets you there. Start by focusing on the audience you're trying to reach. Figure out where they are spending their time. For most people, that includes the inbox, which is why email is such a compelling channel for small businesses. But the same will also be true on social media, where you need to figure out where you need to be to reach your target audience. Remember back to the beginning of today's session when we talked about all the ways your audience engages with you online through email and social media. How are you supposed to decipher what platforms is right for your goal when there's so many to choose from? Well, let me help you weigh the pros and cons. What do you think is the percentage of email that gets delivered to the inbox? Well, you might be surprised to know 90% of your emails get delivered to the inbox. Now, when I was presenting this program the other day, I had a participant in the audience who said, well, how many people open those emails? Well, that statistic may be lower, but think of your emails as a wave telling your readers that you're still around, you're still working, you're still doing business. So they might not open the email right then, but they know you're still around. So when they're ready for your service, they're going to go searching for those emails. Now, how about social media? What is the largest social media site to date? What would you say? Yeah, I gave you a hint. Facebook. What do you think is the percentage of Facebook fans that see you in their news feed? Now, this one may really surprise you. Only about 2% of Facebook fans see your posts in their news feed. Now, that stat is not to downplay the use of social media, as it plays a big role in online marketing strategies. Where email lacks, social media makes up for. And where social media lacks, email makes up for. That's exactly why I recommend that you use both. Now, here are some top social networks. There's a pretty good chance that you're using or considering using one of these. So we're going to quickly walk through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. This isn't going to be an in-depth analysis of each social network. What we want to do is familiarize you with these popular networks so you've got some more insight to help you to confirm your decision to focus on one or to weigh the decision on where to start. Keep in mind that you don't have to use all the social networks for your business. Just choose the ones that are right for you and your audience. Choose the ones that your audiences are on. It's better to focus on a couple of social networks and do a good job with them than to have a bunch that you don't have time for and manage poorly. So we'll start with the biggest one. What you're looking at is the Facebook page for Honey Pot Hills Orchard. It's a farm stand. So what is Facebook? Well, in my book, Content Marketing: How to Get Started, I suggest to you that every social site has a culture, and with that culture comes norms and a language. So I would have you think of Facebook as the big family reunion picnic type culture. It's the largest social media sharing site for people who use the internet and businesses who want to promote themselves online. There are 1.5 billion Facebook users. You probably have an account yourself, or if you don't, you know someone who uses it. What should you post on Facebook? Well, those of you who are already on Facebook, think about the content that you see most frequently. Most of you would say videos and photos. So this type of content is the most engaging right now. But you can also post content that benefits your audience through text, links, photos and images, and it should be engaging and it should inform them. You can also promote what's happening at your business. Share your events and talk about your products and services. How often should you post? Well, I recommend that you post at least once a day on Facebook, as much as 3 times a day. You might not know that Facebook doesn't post every single post from every person or business you follow in your newsfeed chronologically. It has an algorithm known as EdgeRank that shows content that's relevant to each user. This algorithm keeps track of the content that each user clicks on, comments on, likes, and shares, displays posts that are similar to those preferences. So what your goal really is with your fans is to get them to click, comment, like, and share your content, because the more they do that, the more they will see your content. What this means is that the more your followers interact with you, the more likely they are to see your posts in their newsfeed. Once you've gotten a handle of what your followers are interested in, and once you're consistent with your Facebook posting, you'll be able to reach more people because of Facebook's popularity and population. We won't go into this today, but you can give yourself an edge with Facebook marketing by taking advantage of its advertising tools. Yes, you might need to spend a little bit of money to make Facebook work, but the advertising tools have a lot of great features and options, and you don't need to spend much to see the impact. Our next top social media network is LinkedIn. Think of LinkedIn more like a corporate boardroom, where it's very formal. White shirt, suit, tie, those kind of things. The LinkedIn page that you see here is from Grapevine Marketing, a marketing services company. So what is LinkedIn? It's a social networking site that's focused on businesses and careers. As a user, you can create a profile that includes your resume and skills, and you can post status updates. Businesses can create a business account that showcases their products, services, and news, and you can post content there as well. What should your business page share? Well, you're going to want to talk about what's happening with your business, your products, your services, your events, and your people. Share your expertise. Link to a blog post that you've written about topics in your industry, or how-to videos you've created. And try posting curated content. Curated content is content you found, but it was created by someone else. Think, for example, about an art museum curator. Did the art museum staff paint all the paintings it displays? No. The curator uses their knowledge and expertise to go out and look for authentic art to show in the museum. That's what you're doing with curated content. You're sharing the latest blog post by an industry expert, a news story about a hot topic in your industry, or a video explaining the latest trend. Make sure that when you share curated content that you give the original source credit in your post. Now, I used to not understand why someone would want to read content that I've curated, because they could just go get it themselves, right? But the fact of the matter are people are really busy, and it takes a lot of time and energy, knowledge and wisdom to find the right, authentic content that people could use. So how often should you post on LinkedIn? Well, I recommend that you post at least 5 times a week, as many as 7 times a week. And what will be the benefits? Well, the benefits of using LinkedIn for your business is that you're starting to establish your expertise when you talk about what's going on in your business and industry. You can use LinkedIn to network within your industry. Connect with others who do what you do. Become a resource for your peers. Share content that will help them learn something or do their jobs better. Participate in LinkedIn group discussions and share your lessons and advice. Be someone that people in your industry can lean on for the latest information. Let's move on to Twitter. Now here's a look at the Twitter profile. This is the not-for-profit Strong Women, Strong Girls. Now, while I often ask my audiences, like, how many of you just don't get Twitter? And most people just don't get it. So I want you to think of Twitter like a text messaging platform. And on this platform, when you send messages out, those are called tweets. So what is Twitter? It's a social, conversation, and information sharing network. Think of it as a place where you can go for updates in real time about what's going on in the world. Twitter posts, like I said, which are called tweets, are posted in chronological order, and they share the latest news, conversation on popular topics, and helpful information. How can you contribute to Twitter? We'll share links to news about your business, your blog post, and the photos and videos that show who you are, what you do, and what you know. Remember when we talked about curated content when we looked at LinkedIn? Well, curated content works on Twitter too. If you find something interesting and relevant to what you do, but it was created by someone else, share it in a tweet. Twitter moves really fast, so make sure your content doesn't get lost in the stream of tweets. So you want to post at least 5 times a day, but you're better off if you post 10 times a day. For your information, Twitter will let you do 1,000 tweets a day, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. But you'll want to be visible to your followers and contribute to the conversations and information sharing that's happening there. Because Twitter is a place to find out what's happening right now, it's a great way to share up-to-date information with your audience. Announce what's happening at your business, post updates or changes, and respond to customers who need help or have questions. The fourth social network is Pinterest. The Pinterest profile you see here is for Liberty Jane Clothing. So what is Pinterest? It's a social network where users pin images of things they like to a virtual bulletin board. It's a way for users to visually bookmark things they want to buy or their hobbies, interests, and information. These image pins are typically linked to a website where you can buy things, learn more about hobbies, read blog posts about various topics, or go to a web page with more information about the pin. Pinterest users follow other Pinterest users, and when they log into Pinterest, they can get a look at what people are pinning or bookmarking. Those pins appear in the Pinterest newsfeed. What should your business pin to its Pinterest boards? Images of your products and services, visual tips. Think like a text of tips or facts or stats that are superimposed over a photo or colorful background. Your digital content like blog posts, guides, infographics, or videos. Interests or hobbies that relate to your business or industry. Pinterest users tend to use the social network as a visual search engine. So think Google but with pictures. So make sure you're labeling your pin descriptions and board descriptions with the right keywords to get them found in search. You need to be consistent and visible for Pinterest users to find and interact with your pins. So try at least 5 times per day. If that sounds like a lot, remember, you can also use curated content here as well. How can using Pinterest help your business? When you pin original content and use the right keywords, your content has a good chance of being found in Pinterest search. Link your pins to relevant pages on your website to make it easy for people to take another step and interact with you. Read a blog post, buy a product, learn about a service, watch a video, or access more information about what you do. Let's move on to our last network. It's Instagram. What you're seeing here is the Instagram page for Baltimore Humane Society. Instagram is slightly different than the other social networks we covered today because most of the activity takes place in the Instagram app on your smartphone. You can access Instagram on your desktop web browser, but you can't post photos from there. Instagram users post images and videos through the Instagram app. Businesses that market with Instagram can share photos and videos that show off what's happening at their location, their products and services, and the people they work with, employees and customers. It's easy to snap a quick photo of you, your staff, your customers, or anything happening during the day and share it with your followers. Let them see behind the scenes of your business and get to know you better. Try posting at least once a day, but I think you're better off if you can post 3 times a day. Experiment with the times during the day to see when you get the biggest response from your Instagram photos, and then start sharing regularly at the times that work best. Show your audience parts of your business they wouldn't otherwise get a chance to see. Can help you to begin to build relationships with them. When you share with your audience how you get things done, they begin to feel as though they can relate to you and that you're someone that they want to get to know better. We really need to leverage both platforms to get the maximum exposure we're seeking. Combining email and social media is great for gathering followers and building a reputation online. In fact, small businesses who combine email and social media tend to see about a 73% more customer engagement. There's also 57% more new customers and 39% more business referrals. What if you could share your emails on social media like Facebook? What benefits can you see to sharing an email on social media? Here's a few. One is increased visibility. By sharing your email on social media, you are able to get in front of more people rather than if you just sent it to your list. Another benefit is you can grow your list. Anyone who sees your email on social media who isn't already on your list, they can opt to subscribe so that they'll receive messages straight to their inbox in the future. Another benefit is the time savings. I mean, how much time do you spend trying to think of content for all of your different social media channels and email? You don't have to create a unique content for each of the different channels. Now all you have to do is to create your email and then post to social media is just a click away. One of the ways that Constant Contact helps you combine email and social is by allowing you to easily share your well-crafted email to your social media networks, making your marketing even faster and more efficient. Not only can you combine forces outside of your message, Constant Contact has tools to promote social media inside your message. When you place clickable links to your social media pages inside your emails, you'll not only drive traffic to your pages, you'll also get valuable tracking data that will tell you social sites your subscribers are using most. By comparing the amount of traffic you get to each of your social pages, you'll be able to determine whether to efficiently spend your time on social media. Whichever platform is the most popular to your audience is clearly where you should be spending most of your time. You don't have to be on every social media site to be successful. Constant Contact provides you with the tools to help you use your time more wisely. When to send is another very common question, both from how often to send and also when in terms of the time of day and the time of the week. For social media, I recommend a baseline frequency of at least 1 to 3 times per day. There are tools and guidelines for what times have the highest traffic and the most response, but it really depends on your industry and your audience and what you're trying to get them to do. For email marketing frequency, monthly is the most common, but it's also a good idea to add unexpected messages every once in a while. Once you've chosen your platforms, you're ready to start thinking about and writing your messages. But I'll warn you, you will not see the greatest success by simply picking your platform and blasting your goals. In this new digital marketing arena, audiences respond to brands they recognize and trust. How do you do that? Well, let me tell you. In order to reach your goal in the long term, it's not enough to choose the platform and immediately start promoting your agenda. People do not enjoy being sold to. What they do enjoy is receiving content that not only speaks to their interests, but enables them to overcome a challenge, achieve a goal, or learn something they might not have already known. 61% of consumers are more likely to buy from companies that offer valuable custom content. Clearly, there is an impactful connection between offering something your audience cares about and their likelihood to buy from you. Your job is to find the right balance of offering enough valuable content and also promoting your end goal. So I typically encourage my clients to follow a 70-20-10 formula that is a suggestive guideline about how to balance the amount of relevant content you share compared to the amount of curated content and promotional content you offer. In order to encourage your audience to engage with your goals, you must first prove your trustworthiness, credibility, and value. So 70% of your message should be valuable content that you may have created, whereas 20% of that content should be valuable, relevant, curated content, and that gives you room where you've built trust and social capital to spend 10% of your content on promotional content directly tied to your goals. Let's take an example. A small accounting firm. Of course, they're always looking to get more clients during tax season. Ultimately, their promotion is let us do your taxes, with the ultimate goal of getting more clients and increasing revenue. However, they can position themselves as experts and unveil some of their audience's pain points by sharing content like the most common mistakes on your tax returns, where they reveal some of the nitty-gritty aspects of taxes. So that's original created content. That's part of the 70%. Then, for the 20% of content, they might curate content from the IRS blog that speaks about how to stay out of, let's say, IRS jail. Now, how likely do you think the audience will be to make an appointment once you've shared this valuable content versus going straight to promotions? Let me give you an example of how this guideline impacts your long-term goals. A real estate agent couldn't figure out how to maintain relationships with recent home buyers. After the close date, he obviously didn't work as closely with those clients, but he knew they would be essential for word of mouth for new clients. So think about it from the client's perspective. They just bought their dream home, and a month later, they're receiving a newsletter about the newest homes on the market. Well, that doesn't really make the customer feel valued, right? So clearly he needed to maintain the relationship in a different way. He kept a list of all his recent home buyers and emailed the list with a variety of emails about how to maintain your gutters, ideas for home decor, the best plumber in the area, etc. And his call to action was always, share my message with your friends and family. Because he balanced his content, he was able to reach his goals more effectively. One effective way to do this is by turning your interactions with your customers into content for emails. Think for a second about the last interaction you had with someone at your organization. What question did a customer or client have? What information are people requesting about your non-for-profit? Can you turn an answer to those questions into an email? Here are some examples. On the right you have, how do I waterproof my new golf bag? Well, you could create content, maybe blog content, maybe even a video, a tutorial to weatherproof your bag in 5 minutes. Can I set my own volunteer hours? Could be a blog post, top 3 benefits to volunteering this summer. Here's an even better idea, and that is to interview volunteers and let them share the 3 benefits of volunteering. Another one is, where can I find a map of your location? And this would be a great post where you say, we're in your neighborhood, find out where. An easy way to practice this in real life is to create 2 columns on a spreadsheet, a document, or even simply on a piece of paper. And write down the questions you regularly get from your clients, customers, and vendors. And then on the right, write down a way you could turn the answers to those questions into an email full of fresh, relevant content. Guess what? These questions that you write on your paper can turn into subject lines and headlines for social media. It's really that simple. Subject lines are the first thing your audience sees before deciding whether to open your email. You only have a couple of seconds to capture their attention and prove why your content is worth reading. There are really a lot of tips you can use to write subject lines. In fact, I have a whole section in this in my book, but I'm going to share some tips with you right now. So the first tip is to keep it short and simple, about 5 to 8 words to entice them to open the message. This is especially important for the majority of your audience trying to read through the inbox on a mobile device. You could also include numbers in your subject line, as it makes what you're saying quantifiable and lets readers know exactly what they can expect. One example is top 3 benefits to volunteering this summer. Encourage action by including a call to action to get them to open the message immediately. One example for this is schedule your consultation today. You can even include a deadline to create a sense of urgency. One example using this is summer sale ends Friday. Once you've written your subject line, this will double up as a headline when you email or post to social media. The great thing is that Constant Contact recognizes your subject line and automatically makes it your social media post headline. Remember, you don't have to stick to your own content. One of the biggest misconceptions about creating content for an email campaign is that you're responsible for writing every single post or email. There are many resources that you can use to find curated content that your audience will find valuable. For example, you can use blog content, your own or someone else's. Just remember to give credit. Interviews or testimonials are great too. So look like from your staff members or satisfied customers, interviews even from experts in your field. Social media is a great place to find curated content. Now, you're probably busy running your business, so you don't have time to be searching around and hunting around on social media. So what you could do is set a Google alert so that you're alerted on certain terms, on the name of your business, on industry gurus and whatnot, and get notified. And then you can curate that content. You may look for content on YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn that you can curate. You can have special guests create content for you, do video for you. You can interview them as experts in your community or industry. You could get sponsors, donors, or volunteers to create content. You can partner with a strategic partner who complements your products and services. Industry news is a great place to curate content, where you can access and curate annual reports, competitor news, and press releases. Surveys are also great tools to use with your fans and your customers. Whatever content you share, wherever you decide to share it, brand recognition is always important. It's a great way to reinforce and build relationships with new or potential customers to increase your chances of achieving your long-term goals. So here's some tips. Be consistent. Take the vibe of your other marketing materials like your website and apply it to your email and social media marketing so it resonates with your audience. People need to see your brand or promotion up to 20 times before they will engage with your organization or purchase your product. Match colors. Color can increase brand recognition up to 80%. Make sure it's exact. Use free tools like ColorCop or Digital Color Meter. Choose your tone. Speak the same in your emails as you do in person, or as you do on the radio or television ads, or in social media. Use the same language and tone to address your audience. It does impact the picture of your brand. Constant Contact makes it easy to choose and fully customize a template to fit your branding and styling needs. Don't forget to think about visual aspects of your message. Here's some tips. Spotlight your products, services, employees, and customers. Include 3 or fewer images to get the best click-through rates. Research suggests that video content increases click-through rates by 300%. So videos could be product demos, customer testimonials, promotional videos, and user-generated videos. With Constant Contact, you have the ability to easily add your images and make them clickable. This is especially great for adding in links to your videos. The Pajama Program was doing an end-of-the-year push for warm winter donations. They made a video to recap their mission. Want people to watch your video? Promote it on all of your marketing channels. That's exactly what Pajama Program did. They got the word out by promoting it using many of their marketing channels, promoted it in their email newsletter and on their Facebook page using the social share tool when scheduling their emails. You'll also need to keep in mind mobile to make your message easy to read. Here's some tips. Avoid using multiple columns. Prior to the rise of mobile and mobile communications, emails had started to take on an almost web-like feel with multiple columns and navigation elements similar to what you would find on a website. But with mobile communications driving content to be more focused and also just to fit a more physical condensed space, multiple columns cause problems. The great thing with Constant Contact is that their templates are all designed to be mobile friendly and easy to read, no matter whether your audience reads your email on mobile or on the desktop. Tip 2 is to avoid using tiny fonts. Now, sometimes you want to squeeze a whole bunch of content in by using 9 and 12-point font, but nobody can read that. People will have to pinch to zoom in and then spread it out again and scroll around. They're more likely to delete the message as well as unsubscribe from further small font emails. So I recommend that you use at least 11-point font for the body text and 22-point font for your headlines, and start to bring greater contrast between the text and the background. The third tip is to use images carefully. Images are a great way to convey a message, tell a story, create a connection. But if you don't carefully consider how you're going to use images, you may end up with some unintended consequences that lead, at best, to someone not reading your email. Here are some things to keep in mind. Some mobile email clients may not display images by default. So be sure that you're using what is called alt text, or text that appears if the image doesn't, to at least let people know what's there. Great images still shouldn't push the call to action all the way to the bottom of the message, making it less likely that the reader will actually click through. So you will want those images with the call to action higher up. The position and size of the images matters too. You may need to resize images as you build your email. A lot of email marketing tools have simple built-in image editing capabilities. Before you send your message out to your customers or supporters, test the email by sending it to yourself. This is a really beneficial feature. Where you're creating your emails in Constant Contact, you have that feature available. Be sure to view it with your readers in mind and make changes accordingly. A few extra minutes of testing can save a lot of headache later. We've done much of the hard part, believe it or not. We know what we're after. We know what we're going to ask of our audience. Now it's time to promote the message. Now that you've primed your audience with valuable content, they're going to be more open to responding to your promotions. The fact is that we have 10% of our marketing to encourage our audience to take action. We need to make sure that it's really impactful in terms of helping us reach our goal. So how do we do that? Maybe your number one objective is to drive more revenue or donations. How do we actually get from this pretty goal to putting money in the bank? It's by the way we use our calls to action, and the link between asking for what you want and getting it. They are the lifeline of success, especially in email marketing. Has everyone ever heard of this phrase, call to action? Do you know what that means? A call to action is a specific action your customer or member will take to help you reach your goal. Many times, you're asking readers to click to visit an important page that relates to your goal. Unfortunately, we can't force anyone to take action, but there are certain things we can do to make that action more likely. For example, a company called Create Debate was able to increase clicks in their emails by making it look like a button instead of a standard text. They increased the click-through rate by 45%. That's exponential compared to the average click-through rate, which is anywhere from 5 to 10% depending upon most industries. When you choose a template, you'll be able to add and move buttons to go exactly where you need them. Here's one example of the major impact a button can have on your goal. Notice the difference between a regular email from an Outlook, Gmail, or Yahoo account, that's on the left, and one sent through an email service provider like Constant Contact on the right. What do you notice in the difference between these two emails? The email on the right clearly looks more professional, which will ultimately get you closer to achieving and surpassing your goals. With regular email on the left, you have limitations, like you're limited to the number of emails that you can send all at once. You can see that there's no formatting controls. There's no cohesive branding, and there's no tracking and reporting of email results. By sending an email through Constant Contact, like the one on the right, you'll have a beautiful template to choose from that you can customize, that's mobile responsive and easy to use. You'll have brand identity recognition with features built to match your logo and colors. Plus, you can integrate your social media profiles and drive website traffic. You'll have actionable features like clickable images, built-in buttons, and best of all, you'll have trackable results. There are even more best practices you might not know about when designing an awesome call to action. For example, narrow down to 1 or 2 per email. One study showed that emails with a single call to action increased clicks by 371%. That's a major difference. Use actionable language like visit our website, order online, register by April the 1st, request a copy, or download our guide. You'll want your buttons to be above the scroll. If you're asking a reader to take action, you need to catch them while they're still paying attention. So above the scroll simply means before they have to scroll down further to take that action. You'll also want to use clickable buttons where you will get more results. It's time to determine your call to action. If you remember the goal of Half Moon Yoga, they really wanted to increase attendance and promote their schedule. What kinds of calls to action would be relevant for them? Think about that. Well, here's one. View the schedule. This is a great call to action to use. You each have a slightly different call to action based upon the goal that you've written for your organization. For example, if you want to drive traffic, you might ask people to visit your website. If you're looking to increase sales or donations, or maybe even drive new or repeat business, you'll ask people to purchase today, or schedule an appointment, or even donate. Think back to the goal you just wrote and look at the examples that I mentioned earlier. How many of you have considered where your call to action would take your readers when they click? Where do you intend to drive your readers? The more direct path you can provide to your readers, the more likely you are to accomplish your goal. So when you're designing your call to action, how can you create a call to action that is direct as possible? Well, Constant Contact has tools that allow you to drive your audience exactly where you need them to be. Let me share a couple examples. Hearts and Tails Animal Rescue desperately needed volunteers. They were sending emails to their subscribers where people would click on the call to action and be taken to their website where they had to find the link to download the PDF form. The volunteers then filled it out and mailed it or emailed it back as an attachment. Hearts and Tails then needed to manually input all the volunteer information in the database, which took up a huge amount of manpower. Plus, they had no idea how many volunteers they were missing out on because they just gave up in the process. Now, a couple of things are very clear. They have a good foundation for their message and an excellent call to action, but they hadn't considered all their options in executing their goal. By the end of a consultation, I set them up with an online form that would allow readers to click to volunteer and immediately enter their contact details and volunteer preferences. This simple change allowed Hearts and Tails to retain more volunteers by simplifying the application process, not to mention the time they save by not having to manually enter the volunteer data. They gained 11 new volunteers last year, which is one more than their goal. Here's another example, and this is with Weston Downtown. They run an annual gala event. They were sending email invitations instructing people to RSVP via email. Their registration limit was 500 people, so as you might imagine, they couldn't keep up and things got messy. Registrants didn't quite know what information to reply with and how to pay for the event. Employees spent hours and hours speaking with customers, reading reply emails, and tracking all of the registrations in their Excel spreadsheet, and then tracking and completing payments using a separate processing tool. How many of you run events? Does this sound familiar to anyone? For those of you who run events, which of these challenges can you relate to? Ultimately, they needed a tool that would automate their event management and provide their attendees with an easy way to register and pay. Instead of driving their call to action to an email inbox, attendees were sent straight to a short form to provide their information and complete the payment right then and there. Last year, they sold out of all the tables 2 weeks before the event. Raise your hand if you ever offered coupons or ran deals for your business. Well, what kind of struggles have you experienced when sending coupons? Boutique on Main for years has been offering coupons in magazines and newspapers in order to drive more sales. The usage was low, and they were targeting thousands of people in their local area and couldn't keep track of how many coupons were still floating around. Part of specifying their goal was really about who they were offering their coupon to. By offering it to everyone all the time, they were cheapening their promotion. A better strategy was to utilize their existing email subscribers who had recently engaged with their message. I suggested an online coupon to reward regular customers and incentivize them to promote the coupon using social media, which increased their reach to qualified new customers. At this point, we've executed our message, but what good does it do if we don't follow up to see if we've achieved our original goals? You've probably heard the phrase, if you're not measuring, you are not marketing. Well, that couldn't be more true. Reports are going to help you to determine if you met your goal that we talked about at the beginning of the session. Depending on your goal, you might use reports like who is opening your emails, if they're clicking on your call to action, how many people respond to your form or survey questions, how many sign up for your events, pay for your events, or even claim or share a coupon. Using an online marketing service like Constant Contact is going to help you save time and money because we track the actions that your subscribers take. Let's take a look at some of the results that our businesses use to measure their success. Hearts and Tails used a form to increase their number of volunteers. By driving readers directly to the online form, Constant Contact automatically recorded all the submissions and all the details for interested volunteers. They could compare that end result directly to their goal to determine whether or not they were successful. The Weston Downtown automated their event RSVP process in an effort to save time and increase event registrants. Constant Contact's tool allowed them to manage RSVPs, collect event payments, and keep a track of cancellations and more. The Boutique on Main hoped to increase sales by offering a trackable coupon, which allowed them to measure how many coupons were redeemed and shared without having to manually keep track. No matter what your organization is trying to achieve at any given time, Constant Contact has the metrics to help you gauge whether or not you achieve your initial goal. If you didn't get to where you wanted to be, Constant Contact goes even further to provide you with metrics you need to make better or different marketing decisions for your next message. Regardless of your end goal, we've established email is one of the most effective ways to promote your calls to action, not only because of the 90% of people you can reach in the inbox, but also because of the feedback you'll receive as a sender. By using email, you'll be able to measure how many people are viewing your message and how many people are engaging with your call to action. Here you'll see a variety of metrics you'll receive, but let's just talk about some of the most important metrics toward reaching your goal and how they can impact your future email marketing decisions. Let's look at open rates. This metric is invaluable in helping you achieve your goals because if you're not getting your audience to open your message, they'll never have a chance to reach your call to action. Here's some best practices. First, you'll want to take a look at the list of people who did open your email. You'll see the day and time they open your email. This is where you'll look for trends in the day of the week and the time of the day. This will help you to choose a better time when more contacts are more likely to open your email. Your subject line is one of the most important factors that affect your open rate, so make sure it is attention-grabbing and uses 5 to 8 words. Make sure your subject line is easily recognizable. Your audience should know who the email is coming from. In most cases, this will be your company name. The industry average for this metric can range anywhere from 8% to 28%. Now let's look at click-through rates. You'll also know whether your audience was engaging and if they find value in the information you're sending. You'll know who clicked on your link and took the action you requested. To improve your click-through rates, here's some strategies. Be sure that your call to action is simple, descriptive, and easy for your contacts to understand what you'd like them to do. Make sure your link really stands out. Ideally, I suggest using a button with a contrasting color to really make it pop. You'll be able to build better relationships and improve results with your customers or members by personalizing content and segmenting your contact list. While you can segment your list based on just about anything you know about the members of your audience, your reports will provide plenty of data to begin segmenting contacts. When you know that a group of your contact list opened your email or even clicked on a specific link in your email, you know that they are interested in that topic, so you'll be able to save those contacts to their own list and send specific information in the future. The industry average for this metric can range anywhere from 5% to 18%. So now let's talk about how you're going to get started. Everything that we've talked about in this webinar is intended to help you grow your business. Strategies, tips, and ideas that you can leave here and try. The good news is success is well within your reach. For those of you who are just getting started, here are your first steps. Start by writing out the specific goal you want to reach. Then you'll design your call to action and send the message to your target audience to get them to take action. Last but not least, measure your results so you can keep sending, learning, and making the necessary adjustments with each email. Depending on your goal, remember to consider a direct route to your call to action. It may be your website, but it could also be an interactive page like an online form or a registration page. If you can benefit from a more direct call to action and an easier way to manage your marketing, it's time to consider Constant Contact for more than just email. Constant Contact is committed to helping small business owners and nonprofits succeed in growing business. The tools are designed to help you get real results